Varṇadharma presents 4 key perspectives, being foundational to Karma Yoga. We all know there are 4 key perspectives to Karma Yoga, which is what Varṇadharma talks about. What are the 4 key perspectives? Varṇadharma as Ajna, Varṇadharma as Yajna, Varṇadharma as Prajna, Varṇadharma as Sarvajna. 4 perspectives. Ajna is command, prescription. Just like how a doctor prescribes medicines, the universal doctor prescribes Varṇadharma. Every patient is unique. Only the doctor knows. Doctor can classify the patients and say, okay, heart patients, this is the medicine. Lung, you have a problem with lungs, this is your medicine. It cannot be one universal medicine to all. So there is a prescription that is given that has to be followed. I cannot say that I like that medicine better than this, it tastes better, so I will go for that medicine. That's not going to work. The sickness is only worsened. So first, Varṇadharma is a prescription, it's a command, it's a divine prescription. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam, Krishna says. Divine prescription. Varṇadharma as Yajna. Yajna is expression of gratitude. It is an opportunity. Every duty that we perform, every work that we do is actually an opportunity for us to express our gratitude to Krishna. When we say we need to thank Krishna, we suddenly, we wonder, how can I, in what ways can I thank Krishna? What are the special ways and means of thanking Krishna? We don't need to go about finding special ways. Any work that we do can be an expression of our thanksgiving to Him, because every resource that we have, including our body and mind and intellect, and all the resources that we do use for the work that we do, are gifts from Krishna. So why should we go around searching for ways and means of thanking Him when any work that we do can be an expression of our thanksgiving to Him? Therefore, Varṇadharma as Yajna, an opportunity to thank Him. Whatever ability I have, I should be thankful to Krishna for giving me that ability. So, Prajna, Varṇadharma helps purification of the mind. This is where the inner comfort comes in. When there is no conflict between the Swabhava and the work that I do, and in that process, I am able to start thinking Krishna a little bit. We'll come to that. How, irrespective of what kind of work that we do, there is always a scope to bring Krishna into the equation. Then, purification of the mind is going to happen. So, Varṇadharma helps in purifying, the process of purifying. From a perspective of Sarvajna, Krishna wants order and harmony in this universe. And harmony has to be maintained by everyone, and therefore it becomes our responsibility to participate in maintaining that harmony. As human beings, it is our duty to maintain harmony and order in this universe at all levels. When we talk of harmony, harmony at the individual level, at the microcosm, harmony at the macrocosm. Krishna takes care of harmony at the macrocosm and gives us the will to take care of harmony at the microcosm. Now we misuse that will and create disharmony. Varṇadharma is to enable us to maintain harmony. What is maintaining harmony? When I am able to contribute to the society and do work that is aligned with the larger cause, then I am maintaining harmony. So Varṇadharma, be it the dharma of a Shudra, dharma of a Vaishya, dharma of a Brahmana, dharma of a Kshatriya, the goal is to maintain order in society. So Varṇadharma therefore presents 4 key perspectives to us. Ajna, Yajna, Prajna, Sarvajna. This is where now Krishna gives the formula for us in terms of now, by practicing Varṇadharma, how can we then spiritually grow. Ultimately, if Varṇadharma is the foundation, how is this foundation going to help us build the castle of spiritual progress? Therefore, Shloka 1846, it's a beautiful shloka. Krishna says, Yatah pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. Siddhim vindati manava. Siddhim, success, perfection, completeness. How do I attain that spiritual perfection? Krishna says, Yata pravritti bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam. He is giving the definition of who is that supreme being. Yata pravritti bhutanam, from whom everything has come. The source of all sources. Yena sarvamidam tatam. Who is all pervading, all permeating. That Parabrahman, that Krishna, he says, Swakarmanam tam abhyarcha. When one worships him through the work that is done, that is the only way to attain perfection. Very simple formula. Now we all know this. Work, worship. How do we marry both? This is what Krishna is, the formula is very, very simple. Work and worship. How do we marry the work with worship of Krishna? When we do our work as per Varṇadharma, it gives us the spiritual impetus needed to worship Krishna to that work. So therefore, the key phrase here is Swakarmanatam Abhyarcha. Can we all chant this shloka together? Yata pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam swakarmanatam abhyarcha sindhim vindati manavaha. Swakarmanatam abhyarcha. Worship Krishna with work. We all worship Krishna. We think worshipping Krishna is a different activity. Doing our jobs is a different activity. This is what we think. I wake up in the morning, I do all my ablutions, I go to the puja mandir, I worship Krishna. The worship ends there. Then I walk out and start doing other things. I go to my office, and then what I do there has nothing to do with worship. This is what we think. These are two different things. But Krishna says, no. Swakarmanatam abhyarcha. 24/7 we can worship, minus 8 hours. Even that 8 hours, we are actually worshipping Him. In our deep sleep, we are one with Krishna. So therefore, how do we worship Krishna with work? This is the key. Because after all, what is important here to understand is when we say worship Krishna, Krishna is not looking at what we are offering Him. Hey Krishna, I'm offering you the sweet that you like today. We think we can bribe Him. So I bribe you with this special thing that you like. Therefore, do this for me. What Krishna is actually looking at is not what we offer. He is actually looking at the underlying ingredient that every offer should have. What is that underlying ingredient? Preeti. Krishna Trishna. Bhakti. We need to sprinkle everything with Krishna Trishna. And only when what we offer to Krishna is sprinkled with Krishna Trishna, that offering is complete. Otherwise, it is a very mechanical chore. It just remains a ritual. So, when it comes to work, Krishna says, worship Krishna with work, which means we also have to sprinkle Krishna Trishna in our work. Just like how it is not enough just to offer something to Him. How we make that offering becomes very, very important. And essentially, which means any prescribed duty based on Varṇadharma, while doing the duty, how do we add Krishna flavor? We keep discussing this. Adding Krishna flavor to anything that we do. When we add that Krishna flavor to every work that we do, magic happens. That's when spiritual progress happens. So when we look at the classification that is given to us, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Shudra, Vaishya, the 4 classes, the 4 Varnas, Krishna gave us very simple and at the same time very profound definition of the nature of work for the 4, the duties. Now, what are those? Let us chant all the 4 together. Samodhamastapashaucham Kshantirajavamevacha Jnanam Vijnanamastikhyam Brahma Karma Svabhavajam Shauryam Tejodhritir Daksham Yuddhe Chapyapalayanam Danam Ishvara Bhavascha Kshatram Karma Svabhavajam Krishi Goraksha Vanijam Vaishya Karma Svabhavajam Paricharyatmakam Karma Shudrasyapi Svabhavajam. We saw the job description of a Brahmana, the job description of a Shudra, the job description of a Vaishya, the job description of a Kshatriya in detail last session. And we also saw if this is the job description with the qualifications, who is fit to apply to those jobs? And only when there is a right fitment, then one can do the job perfectly. Now, having understood that, the step 1 is the right fitment between one's characteristics and the job itself. A guna brahmana and a guna karma and a karma for a brahmana, karma brahmana, the fitment is right. A guna kshatriya cannot take up the karma of a brahmana. There will not be alignment, and that will result in distress and disharmony. So therefore, at that level we are clear. There has to be a match between guna and karma. Guna vibhaga, karma vibhaga, we should match. Now once that happens, material contribution will start happening. How will the spiritual evolution happen? This is why Krishna says, he says, worship should be married with work. The work should be offered in worship. How do we do that? Now, this is where we need to give Krishna flavor. We will do a little exercise as to how we give Krishna flavor to everything that we do. Going back, we looked at the duties of a Brahmana. Shamaha, Damaha, Tapaha, Shaucham, Kshantir, Ajjavam, Jnanam, Vijnanam, Astikyam, so on. Duties of a Kshatriya, Shauryam, Tejaha, Dhritir, Dakshyam, so on. Now, while doing this duty, we must add Krishna flavor. And how do we add Krishna flavor? We will do it together as an exercise so that we will remember. So, Shamaha, Damaha, Krishna, Krishna. Shamaha, Damaha, Krishna, Krishna. Tapaha, Shaucham, Krishna, Krishna. Kshantirajjavam, Krishna, Krishna. Jnanam, Vijnanam, Krishna, Krishna. Astikyam, Krishna, Krishna. So a Brahmana, while performing the duties of a Brahmana, should always link everything, give a Krishna flavor to everything that is done. Essentially, the whole objective here is whatever work that is done, it should be centered around Krishna. It is to be offered to Krishna. A Brahmana is teaching not for the sake of teaching, for the sake of Krishna. A Brahmana gets into an inquiry not for the sake of intellectual conquest, but as a service to Krishna. Similarly, Shauryam Tejaha, Krishna, Krishna. Dhritir Krishna, Krishna. Yuddhe Chapyapalayanam, Krishna, Krishna. Danam Ishvara Bhavaha, Krishna, Krishna. Krishihi, Krishna, Krishna. Gorakshaha, Vanijyam, Paricharyatmakam karma. So, any work when we introduce Krishna flavor, material contribution is happening, spiritual. This is where the purification will start happening. When Krishna starts to be part of the equation of the work that we do in our lives, this is where the mental purification will happen. That is why, how do we use the material to realize the spiritual? This is the question. Krishna says the only way to do that is through a ritual. It is through the ritual that we can realize the spiritual. Every work is nothing but a series of rituals that we do. The work that we do, the jobs that we do at home, outside the home, in offices, in society. And the rituals, when they get the Krishna flavor, become spiritualized. What is the goal? The goal is Guna Brahmana. The goal is Guna Brahmana. And who is a Guna Brahmana? S-R-T. Who is a Guna Brahmana? S-R-T. Sattva dominating, followed by Rajas, little of Tamas. So, the goal of spiritual journey is to become a Guna Brahmana. And we said, the door is open to one and all. This is the beauty of the Varṇadharma. No restrictions, no discriminations whatsoever. Anyone can aspire to become a Guna Brahmana, irrespective of the karma that one does. One can be a Karma Vaishya, a Karma Shudra, a Karma Kshatriya, does not matter. One can aspire to become a Guna Brahmana. If this is the goal, how do we reach this goal? We reach this goal by bringing Krishna into the work that we do. This is what it says. Of work and worship needs to be married together. What was that shloka? We need to once again. Yatah pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam swakarmana tam abhyarcha. Swakarmana tam abhyarcha. Which means worship Krishna with work. Now, once we start worshipping Krishna with work, irrespective of where we are, irrespective of where, Swakarmanatham Abhyarcha, Krishna magic is going to work. Irrespective of whether we are a Guna Shudra, a Guna Vaishya, or a Guna Kshatriya, how is that going to happen? We can be performing the duty of a Kshatriya. Who is a Guna Kshatriya? R-S-T. Or a Vaishya. R-T-S. Or a Shudra. T-R-S. Depending on our dominance of our gunas, our swabhava, we can choose the appropriate karma. So let's say a Guna Kshatriya chooses to become a Karma Kshatriya. A Guna Vaishya chooses to become a Karma Vaishya. A Guna Shudra chooses to become a Karma Vaishya. Now, at this level, there is a total alignment between Swabhava and the Karma. When there is total alignment and one starts to offer that work as a worship to Krishna, we will see how in that process progress is also going to happen. Let's keep chanting Krishna, Krishna. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Krishna, 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 Krishna. A Guna Kshatriya being a Karma Kshatriya is going to progress. As we see, Sattva increasing slowly from being RST, ultimately he becomes SRT. That's the goal. A Vaishya starts with RTS and becomes SRT. A Shudra starts with RTS and TRS and becomes SRT. That's the goal. Eventually, Shudra becomes a Guna Brahmana. A Karma Shudra, by doing work prescribed for a Kshudra can become a Guna Brahmana. A Karma Vaishya, by doing the work prescribed to the Vaishya, can become Guna Brahmana. A Karma Kshatriya, by doing the work of a Kshatriya, can become Guna Brahmana. Simple. The formula given by Krishna is very, very simple. Do the work assigned, prescribed, identification, classification, prescription and assignment. When there is that alignment, then start practicing bhakti on top of dharma, and that is when spiritual evolution starts. Thus he says, Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat svanushtithat swabhava niyatam karma kurvanapnoti kilvisham. He says it's better for one to practice one's swadharma rather than trying to do paradharma, somebody else's dharma. This is essentially trying to do work for which we are misfit. We will repeatedly fail. It is better to do work based on one's abilities. A Guna Vaishya should choose to be a Karma Vaishya to begin with. And then he can aspire to become a Guna Brahmana. A Guna Vaishya, if he takes up the work of a Brahmana, tries to become a Karma Brahmana, will meet failure. A Guna Shudra, if he takes up the work of a Kshatriya, if he tries to become a Karma Kshatriya, will fail. By choosing to be by being a Karma Vaishya, a Guna Vaishya can transform to become a Guna Brahmana. So, Shreyan, that's why it's Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha Paradharmat Svanushtithat Swabhava Niyatam Karma. The underlying statement, the statement to be underlined here is Swabhava Niyatam Karma. One needs to practice the prescribed karma, which is based on one's swabhava, which is what the Varṇadharma system is all about. So what is the point of this instruction here? Now, as we conclude this section on Varṇadharma, we need to clearly understand what is the objective, the point of this instruction. Krishna is very clearly instructing, hey Arjuna, Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha. Even if you cannot do your Swadharma properly, still you should do your Swadharma. It is better, an improper performance of your Swadharma is better than you attempting Paradharma, he says. So, what is the point of Krishna's instruction here? This is very central to the Gita. Krishna here is instructing Arjuna. So therefore, Arjuna is a great case study for us here. So Gita is the Arjuna case study. What is the point of instruction here? The point of instruction is, we all know what Arjuna was trying to do. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, that valiant Arjuna, the one who is the most skilled archer on the planet, the most successful Kshatriya on the planet, that Arjuna was arguing with Krishna as to why he shouldn't adopt a Brahmana dharma. Arjuna's case that he presented to Krishna was, hey Krishna, if I have to now execute my Kshatriya dharma, I will end up killing people on this battlefield. My own relatives, my own grandfather, my own acharya, all this. So instead, I will adopt the dharma of a Brahmana, a karma of a Brahmana. I will walk away, I will become an ascetic. This is the case that Arjuna was trying to present. And Krishna was categorically, hey Arjuna, if you do that, that is going to be a catastrophe. Because someone who is a Guna Kshatriya, now it is like on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, there were two job descriptions that were announced. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, there were two job descriptions that were announced. One job description was job description of a thinker, teacher and guide. Another job description that was announced was a job description of a leader, an administrator and a warrior. Now Arjuna was telling Krishna, hey Krishna, I am going to now apply to this job, not to this job. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjuna was making a strong case. It is like a carpenter making a strong case to someone saying why I shouldn't become a doctor. I will go and do the surgery. The patient is there in the next room. I also know to cut. I have a big saw. He's making a very strong case. I will learn. Give me a few minutes. I will learn how to cut. Cutting only, right? Cutting wood or cutting stomach is the same. I need few minutes. Arjuna is making a similar case. Hey Krishna, there are two job descriptions. Job description of a Kshatriya, job description of a Brahmana. Arjuna was saying, no, this job description of Kshatriya doesn't fit. But because by executing the role of a Kshatriya, I'm not going to be following Dharma. I might as well do the job of a Brahmana. And all this that Krishna takes us through is to prove to Arjuna that the course of action that he wants to take can be a disaster. Because why? Someone who is a Guna Kshatriya can possibly be a temporary Karma Brahmana. Can be temporarily. But one cannot sustain that. One can temporarily be a Karma Brahmana. One can try to control one's anger, control one's passion, control oneself to be calm for few minutes. But then somebody will come trigger, and that one trigger immediately will result in the Guna Kshatriya transgressing the dharma of doing the karma of a Brahmana. So Krishna says, if you, a Guna Kshatriya, even if you get into doing the karma of a Brahmana, it is just a matter of time before you will break dharma, you will break the rules. It is not possible for you to sustain playing the role of a Karma Brahmana, hey Arjuna. Instead of you trying to play the role of a Karma Brahmana, you should continue to play the role that is ordained to you. The role of a Karma Kshatriya is ordained to you, hey Arjuna, because you are a Guna Kshatriya. You have to know the role that you are fit to play. If you are not fit to play the role, do not choose the role. You will fail. This is why Krishna talks to Arjuna at length on Varṇadharma, talks at length on Karma Yoga. And he helps Arjuna realize that one's Varna is so very important in the performance of one's karma. To do Karma Yoga, it is important to choose the right occupation. And only by performing Karma Yoga, which takes into account four things: Agnya, Yajna, Prajna, Sarvajna. That's a stepping stone for the purification of the mind to happen, for Krishna to be in the mind forever, steadily, for bhakti to blossom and grow. And that is the only way one can spiritually progress. So therefore, the case study, the Arjuna case study for all of us is choosing the right karma based on guna. So when Krishna therefore says, Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha, hey Arjuna, even if you do not win the war, doesn't matter. You are a Kshatriya, go and fight. Winning, losing the war is not your business, it's my business. This is the message that Krishna gives Arjuna. You think you can win the war or you can lose the war. Neither you can win the war, or you can lose the war. I am the one who orchestrates. Eventually, this is the message that Arjuna gets. You have no choice in the outcome. Winning or losing is not your choice. Engagement in doing your duty is your choice. I am giving you the choice. All of us are given choices. Choice making is a very unique faculty presented to us by Bhagavan. No other living species has this unique faculty. We can make choices. But we can make choices when it comes to doing our duty. We cannot choose the outcome of the work that we do. Krishna tells Arjuna, hey Arjuna, don't decide on what you should do based on the outcome. Because Arjuna was always looking at the outcome. I am going to kill thousands of people. I am going to do this. There is going to be distraction. There is going to be devastation. The whole world is going to fall apart. So therefore I will not do my duty. Therefore I will do something else. Krishna says, all that, how do you know that the whole world is going to fall apart? That's my job. Don't try to do Krishna's job. Do Arjuna's job. We all would love to do Krishna's job. So, Varṇadharma, therefore, is foundational to Karma Yoga. And Varṇadharma is foundational to the spiritual journey. Because if it is foundational Karma Yoga, Swadharma Jnana Vairagya Sadhya Bhaktyeka Gocharaha. Sadhya Bhaktyeka Gocharaha Narayana Parabrahma Gita Shastre Samiritaha. If we have to discover reality, discover truth, foundational is Swadharma. And to do our Swadharma, we need to understand Varṇadharma. We need to understand Ashrama Dharma. And only when Varna and Ashrama are married and implemented, then we can fulfill the purpose of doing Karma Yoga, and in that process we can cultivate right knowledge, Jnana, and that knowledge, Jnana, will mature to become Bhakti, which will reveal Krishna to us. Until then, revelation of truth will not happen. We will continue to struggle. The choice is whether we want to struggle or we want to sail smoothly. Varṇadharma is a tool, a framework to remove all our struggles and enable us to smoothly on our spiritual journey. Sarvam Sri Krishnarpanamastu.